What's up, guys? Welcome to the fourth installment of the 2026 team preview series. Today we are focusing on the Los Angeles Angels. This team has been baffling to me. It was hard to come up with information to go off of when it comes to this team. They've been confusing for a very long time now. All right, let's start with the 2025 recap. Last year they went 72 and 90, came in last in their division. They've been hovering in that 70 to 75 win range for the better part of a decade, really, for the majority of Mike Trout's tenure. They had a couple really good seasons in his early years, winning the division in 2014, ultimately getting swept in the division series. And that was his only playoff appearance of his career, never having won a playoff game. But since then, it's pretty much been 72 wins here, 74 wins there. They had back-to-back seasons of 80 wins in 2017, 2018. But it's just, they haven't like fully blown rebuilt. They haven't been good. They're just there. Mike Trout, they had Ohtani for a few years, and that didn't help. I don't know what to make of this team. They need to commit to a full rebuild, but now it's probably too late because it's too late to deal Mike Trout. You're not going to get anything for him with the injury history and the age. I don't know. This team is like in what feels like permanent limbo. Transactions, they have added a bunch of players. They lost a bunch of players. Start with who they added. Starting pitcher Grayson Rodriguez, received from Baltimore for Taylor Ward. Outfielder Josh Lowe. Relief pitcher Kirby Yates, 1 year, $5 million. Starting pitcher Alek Manoah, 1 year, almost $2 million. Infielder Vaughn Grissom. Third baseman Yohan Moncada, 1 year, $4 million. Relief pitchers Drew Pomeranz and Jordan Romano. Fine. I don't really love any of those moves, to be quite honest with you. They lost outfielder Taylor Ward, as I mentioned, traded to the Orioles. They lost relief pitchers Kenley Jansen and Luis Garcia, and starting pitcher Kyle Hendricks. To me, those, whatever that was, 7, 8 additions and the 4 losses is a net loss. Losing Taylor Ward, Kenley Jansen is going to be big for them, especially that offense. Luis Garcia is a good bullpen piece that they lost. It seems like they're just circling the pit of mediocrity year after year after year, and they're not willing to fully rebuild, which is what they've needed to do now for probably 8 years, and they just haven't done it yet. And at this point, you're losing out on pieces to even start one outside of Zach Neto, but do you want to get rid of the one good player that you have at the moment? Obviously, Mike Trout is still good, but he's just not going to fetch a whole lot when it comes to a trade market because of his age, because of his injury history. It's just, I don't know. There's not a whole lot of positive outlook here. What I'm going to be watching for in spring training, on paper, the lineup doesn't look horrible. It seems like it's always like that, though. They got some good pieces when you got Logan O'Hoppe, you got Zach Neto, you got Mike Trout, you got Joe Adell. You got some good pieces there. The problem is they just, I don't know, injuries derail them. Pitching is always a problem. I don't know. Grayson Rodriguez could help the pitching a little bit. He's returning from a good bit of injuries. He had a handful of separate injuries last year. He had a lat strain. He had elbow discomfort during the rehab of that. He had elbow debridement surgery. I don't really know what that means. I think it's pulling bone chips or something. Just a variety of different things. 2024, though, was solid. Actually, very average. His ERA plus was 100, so he was perfectly average. 20 games, 3.86 ERA. He's fine. The problem is you're coming off of all those injuries, and you don't know what you're going to get out of him. They do have some arms that I think could be difference makers this season. You got Ryan Johnson, who dominated in the minors last year. 12 games. He had a 188 ERA and a 196 average against. That's dominant. He got a little taste of Major League Baseball, pitched 14 innings, had a 736 ERA and a 364 average against. That was not good. But that's common for pitchers getting that first little taste of big league hitters. There's definitely a transitional period of learning how to pitch to the best of the best. George Klassen is their top pitching prospect. He was very good in 2024. 2025 was okay. He's got a ton of swing and miss stuff. Nasty stuff. 269 strikeouts and 201 minor league innings overall. That's a lot. He does walk a ton of people. 93 walks in 201 innings. That's a lot. His final season of college, I looked into to see where the walks began. His final year of college, he walked 7.5 per 9 innings. That is a lot. And obviously, he's continued that. The stuff is undeniable. The stuff is nasty. The problem is, big league hitters, they're not going to swing at jump. For the most part. Some of them do. But it's not going to be like it is in the minors. It's not going to be like it is in college. Those guys, they're going to know how to lay off a lot of that stuff. And you got to throw strikes. And if you're not throwing strikes to begin with, all of that junk, all of that filthiness that you have that's all over the place, they're not going to swing at because they have no basis of a strike to even look at. So, got to fix that. But the stuff is there. If he can hone that in, I mean, he could be really good. He could be a top of the rotation starter. Bullpen, however, should be pretty good, all hinging on what Kirby Yates does. They got a lot of experience in the bullpen. They got a lot of age in the bullpen. I think Kirby Yates is probably should be the closer if he comes back to normal. It could be a kind of a team effort to close out games. I'm not really sure. Most of these teams down in this range of the projections don't have a bona fide closer because you got to fill out the rest of the team before you can close games. If you're not going to have leads, what's the point of having an $8 million closer? But Kirby Yates has done it before, and he has had really good seasons. He's also had really bad seasons. Last year was very injury-riddled. He was a big signing for the Dodgers going into 2025. Injuries derailed that. I think he was making $13 million last year. Injuries derailed that, turned that into a $5 million deal this year. That's a big pay decrease. Also, doing some research into his career, he's been very strange. So he's played 11 seasons total. He has 5 seasons that are above 100 ERA plus. So he's had 5 above average seasons. And they've ranged to some wild numbers. 17, 18, 19 was his best stretch. He went 107, 180, 354, which is crazy. That's crazy. 250% better than the next best player, or the average player. And then 23 and 24, he had another run, 133, 326. He's had 5 seasons where he was below 100 ERA. So he was below average, 50, 83, 36, 84, 80, then well below average. Some really bad seasons. He's had some really dominant seasons and some really bad seasons all in that same window, which is weird. And then he had the one season where he was perfectly average, 2014, which was the start of it all. And then 2021, he missed the entire season. Very strange. Don't know what to make of it. Just interesting to point out. And it's not like you had 5 good seasons in a row and then 5 bad seasons in a row or vice versa. It was just like up, down, up, down, up, 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 down, 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 up, down. It's very weird. I don't even know how to gauge what to expect. I don't know. And it probably means absolutely nothing. I just found it very curious. Position battles, none, really. Second base, maybe. I don't know. The bench is weak, so you're probably going to trot out the 9 that you got until injuries strike, which will happen. Christian Moore versus Vaughn Grissom at second, I think, is the biggest battle that you got. Moore has very good plate discipline for a young hitter. Not much else, though. Probably going to hit for a fairly low average. 10 to 15 home runs, maybe. 10 to 15 stolen bases. He's going to walk some. Going to be patient. But that's all you're going to get out of him. Vaughn Grissom has more MLB experience, but the experience isn't great. He's played 95 games, slash 255, 309, 346. Fine. OPS is really low. Or slugging percentage is, well, OPS too, but slugging percentage really low. 5 home runs, 33 RBIs in 95 games. Nothing special. I feel like Christian Moore is going to get the job because he's got the upside, I think, personally. But I think it could be whoever plays better in spring training is going to get that job. And outside of that, I don't really think there's going to be any other true battles. Player focus. Joe Adell. I don't know what to make out of him, too. Either. Also. Brother? Anyway. I don't know what to make out of his career either. It's been strange. I would go as far to say that Zach Neto is the best player on the Angels at the moment. I think Joe Adell might be the most important player on the Angels at the moment. 2025 was by far his best season. 236, 778 OPS, 37 home runs, 98 RBIs. So power is there. On base, under 300. That's bad. I would love for him to be a little bit more patient. He was very poor defensively last year. Negative 13 runs saved in center field, negative 1 in right field. So wherever you put him, he's going to give you some bad defense. 2024, however, he was good in right field, which I think is where he needs to stay. They have him projected to play center because Mike Trout can't play center anymore. So he might move there. I think he's best suited for right field, and you could put Trout in left field. But we'll see what they do. He had a 6 defensive run save metric in right field in 2024. So not bad. He could play out there. And if you put him out there, maybe he won't be thinking as much about the defense, and that'll allow him to be a little bit more free on offense. Not that he had a poor offensive season, but I would like to see the on base come up a bit. His baseball savant page, outside, he strikes out a lot. So outside of anything swing and miss related, his baseball savant page is very pretty. There's a lot of red. There's a lot of dominant metrics. Bat speed, barrel percentage, hard hit percentage, average exit velocity, slugging percentage, expected weighted on base average. He's all above the 86th percentile. Some of them are in the mid-90s percentile. Defensive range, he is in the first percentile at negative 12. So literally the worst of the worst when it comes to center field and the range that he has in the outfield. Put him in right. Put him in right. Let him swing. You need the offense more than you need the defense. Let's be honest. If Mike Trout can repeat his 2025, which was probably his best season in a while, his most healthy season in a while, and Neto continues his path to stardom, Joe Adell will be the most important piece in dictating where this team goes. Pitching, obviously, is going to be interesting to see what they can piece together with the pitching staff, but Joe Adell is essential to that offense. 2026 outlook. I honestly think they're going to be a little better than we expect them to be. Offseason moves were not flashy, but they could be solid. I think they lost more impact than they gained, but they gained some depth, which is needed for this team. They don't have really any depth. They haven't had any depth in recent years. Starting rotation is going to be the X factor. Starting rotation is going to be the X factor. They're going to be fighting with the A's for last place in the AL West. If Trout can stay healthy, I think they can sit right back in that 70 to 75 win range, if we're being honest. I don't see them getting up to 80. I don't see them falling into the 60s unless they got some injuries. I think they're going to be mediocre. As mediocre as they ever have been. That's all I got. Thank you for tuning in. I did forget to mention in the beginning, check out W Energy. Link is in the description. Promo code BATBOY. You get 10% off. Go check them out. Outside of that, tomorrow we have the St. Louis Cardinals. That should be a fun one because I do like what the Cardinals are doing. They are doing what the Angels have refused to do for the last decade. So we'll get into them tomorrow. W Energy, go check them out. Like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Thank you guys. See you tomorrow.